Salutations to fellows. This is your fabulous Lydia, the Queen of Shade, still bringing to you a special presentation. Lately, I've just been speaking to people that inspire me, people that have supported me for a very, very, very long time. And I wanted to introduce the world, introduce you, my followers, to these amazing people, because I would not be where I am right now if it weren't for these amazing people. So today I have another one. I would like to, without further ado, introduce you to Mr. Laban King. Say hi, Laban.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you?
I'm good.
It's been a
I'm
long
good.
time since we've had a conversation.
It's been listen, it's been
Last
some,
time I talked to you, you had just got back from Paris.
yeah,
That was
that
long
was a
time.
long time ago. I'm like, Laban, don't tell him that. It was a long
I
time.
remember. Yeah.
Oh my God. But you know what it was? Like, I wanted to bring you on because I want them to understand that, we as artists, because Laban is an artist too, and an amazing artist. And not just that. What's your degrees in?
So my undergrad is actually in history. So,
Mhm.
but I work in finance.
Okay.
So yeah.
Right. So yeah, I just wanted them to understand. I've known you since 2008.
Yeah.
And
That's
what,
started as a solo artist. Yeah.
yeah. And you know what the crazy thing is? I remember being on YouTube and having you embraced me. It was so, and this is what I want them to know. I ain't had no plan. I didn't have an agenda. I didn't have management. I didn't have songs. I didn't have anything but my voice at that time. And I was singing covers. And you still saw something in me enough to say, I want to associate with this person, but not just that, associate my brand with this person, because we are all brands and people don't understand that. This is, yeah, we're doing this, but this is to associate our brands together so people can understand that it takes a village to raise an artist. So with,
the beautiful thing about that is, and
yes,
we'll probably talk about this later on, you and I were doing things that nobody was doing back then.
right.
And now we are starting to see the fruits of our labor through other artists as well.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that probably a little bit later on in the conversation.
Baby, you can talk about it right now, Laban. You have the floor. I want them to understand.
I think that we were openly Black gay artists before it was popular.
Right.
And I can tell you, when my first project came out, I was, everybody, listen, the world is such a contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad for you to be yourself, but then when you be yourself, they want to sit up here and close doors on you. And so when my first project came out in 2008, it was called The Fallout.
Yep.
It was very successful, like online. I was featured in a lot of blogs and this, that, and other. But I also caught a lot of flack behind the scenes. I would get booked for shows and then would pull up, and then all of a sudden they would cancel me because they found out that I was, a gay artist. My songs would get pulled off the radio. I lost a lot of opportunities from it. And so because of it, I just had to sit back at a certain point and was like, you know what, let me do something a little different. Because you and I were ahead of our time, and we had great music, we had talent, but the industry just wasn't ready for it. And so like when I see artists like Lil Nas X and Saucy Santana, it's like somebody was like, well, do you feel bitter? I'm like, no, like I'm happy to see representation, because if it's not me, I want it to be someone else.
Yeah.
So you were a pioneer, I'm a pioneer, and some people may know, some people may not know, but the one thing no one cannot do, no one cannot rewrite history. And so
right. And I want to put a pin in that right now. I still remember the name of your record label. It was Jupiter.
Yes.
From 2008. I said that, and I looked away from the camera because I didn't want to cry, because I literally, Laban, you were ahead of your time. I hadn't even started yet. And there you were in my ear. You would call me and you would teach me things about the record business. I remember when you told me, you were like, and this was the thing, we never really had the conversation about And I'm upset now that I know that the industry did that to you, because I remember you being the type of artist where there was a question mark. There was no confirm or deny, you know? So I feel upset because I'm like, well, if he's not confirming or denying, you guys are still penalizing him because you're in the inside of the industry and you know his personal life, which he's not even putting out to the world, and they still penalize you. I remember when you told me, look, I sent my music to overseas and I did well with 5 songs. You were like, I made 6 figures with 5 songs. And I still to this day remember that, because you were blazing a trail before I even realized who I was. There was nothing back then for me. Like, I had a great personality. My voice, even my vocal styling was different because I was singing covers. I hadn't found my voice. I hadn't found my sound. And Laban, okay, see, you're gonna make me cry. Back then, you were working with the Neptunes.
Yeah. Well, my first project was produced by a producer named J. Drew Sheard, who was the first producer to sign to the Neptunes. His mother is Karen Clark Sheard, the gospel. And J. Drew and just the Clarks, they've always been extremely supportive, great people. Wow. And really, the weirdest thing is J. Drew, I told him I was coming out with some music. He was like, okay, I'm gonna produce it. I never asked him. He just volunteered. See. And I was like, okay. So I thought he was just playing, right? So then he was like, let's go to the studio around this time. The whole time I'm thinking like he's playing. And we actually, not only did we do great music, but I mean, really, I owe so much to him. And I owe so much to just so many people back then, because I was not in a position financially to be doing a lot of stuff.
Talk about it. And please talk about it.
My first album was paid for by favor.
Yes.
Favor from God. It was not with USD money.
Right.
So I will always, have love and respect and honor for him and so many people who worked on my first project. I literally paid for nothing. Production, songwriting, studio time, nothing.
Amazing. But
artwork, nothing.
Yes, because I remember it, and I remember the music. And this is what I love about music. Your music was timeless. You can put that shit out today, right now. And see, this is what people, okay, here we go, business talk real quick. This is what people don't understand. Yes, you want to sell really well when your album comes out, but that's not really why record companies make music. It's the residual, it's later, it's the generations, it's the children. They hold on to that music because every generation that comes, they're like, oh, they're going to put that music back out. They're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to revamp, they're going to remaster. And that's what people don't understand. People are like, oh, well, my album didn't do this, is that, and the other. Anita Baker had to release her album twice in order for her to even get the recognition that she got, So I love that. Oh, first of all, I'm just so thankful that you took this interview because you're busy. I've watched you work with NBA players. I've watched you, through the eye and the lens of social media. I've watched you do so much. I've watched you make a lot of money. I'm just going to say it just like that. I've watched you make a lot of money for yourself and other people. And I remember sitting there like, God, I need to know what this man knows, because it's just like, if I could do that, all of my artistry would be paid for. And, that was at a time where my grandmother, the Queen Mother, hadn't decided to dip into her IRA and give me her retirement money, Laban. Her retirement money. She worked 40 years for that money on someone that, yes, had talent, but wasn't necessarily a sure thing or a way for her to get the returns that she was putting out. And she still did it. And I love that I can just see, I love this because we having real artist talk right here in front of the whole world. And I love that. Would you please talk about Jupiter and how it got started? What, because I remembered it and I loved it. I loved the artwork. It was very like otherworldly spaceship kind of stuff, stratosphere, galaxy kind of artwork. Can you please tell us how it got started?
So, oh, wow. Okay, so Jupiter, it was a record label that I started along with my former business partner, Chris Agawa. Okay. Him and I both went to the University of Michigan together.
Right.
And the funniest thing is, I had just moved back from New York. I was working in New York, working with
Mhm.
different artists in there. And then my dad got sick. My dad started having
Oh,
strokes, this, that, and other. So my
okay.
sister was in law school at the time. My mom had a job. So I was the only one that kind of had, I would say, a flexible schedule. So
Yes.
went from Detroit, I mean, excuse me, New York back to Detroit. And so literally, I was at my sister's job and I was on the computer. She worked at city council at the time
Mhm,
in
mhm,
Detroit. And I just so happened to message, Chris on Facebook Messenger that had
mhm,
just been released.
mhm.
And he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I want to start a record label." He was like, "All right, let's do it."
Mm.
We're just cool in campus. So it's not like we were like the closest of friends.
Right.
So the next day I went to his office and that became our office. And so the thing of the name Jupiter, I was like, I want to sound something out of this world. So I'm immediately beginning to think of the planets, but I was like, I don't want to call it after a planet. So I was like, I want to be the biggest record label. The biggest planet is Jupiter. And so instead of Jupiter, Z, so Jupiter.
Yes.
Um, and so from there, what happened was there was an artist in Detroit who I felt like he had the perfect package, the look, the sound.
Right.
I had known him for years.
Right.
He was supposed to sign to my record label, right?
Right.
One day, him and I went out to Noodles and Company in Royal Oak, Michigan, and he was just like, "I'm not gonna sign," and just left. Didn't give me any reason as to why. By this time, I had already recorded the album because I recorded it for him. And
Oh,
so I was like, damn, who am I gonna find that could sing this well, this, that, and other, X, Y, and Z? So at this point, I felt defeated. And so on my birthday, I was mad and I dumped the songs on the internet. Had no idea that they would take off.
wow.
My email then, and I put them under Laban Music at Gmail.
Right.
I never checked that because I never planned on being an artist. So one day I checked it and I'm getting all these requests to go overseas. And so I was like,
Mm.
this is weird. So I thought it was all a scam, right?
Mm.
And I'm like, I am in Detroit. Who knows me in Paris and these other places? It doesn't make any
Power
sense.
of
So
the internet.
I told my sister, I said, y'all gotta understand, this was before Instagram,
Yup.
this was before
Twitter.
Twitter, all that type of stuff.
Yup.
So I was like, okay, my sister and I, we could go over this Paris. And if it don't work out, at least we got a free trip out of it.
Right.
So we made sure we had enough money to at least get back home.
Right.
There, and my sister and I, we were in front of the Eiffel Tower. And I never forget, I actually have this video. A man was playing, I remember he played Katy Perry. He played a Rihanna song. He played a French rap artist. And then he played my music. But he didn't know that was me.
Oh my
I
God.
went straight up to him. I was like, "Do you know who that is?" And so he's like, "Laban King, Laban King." I was like, "I'm Laban King." Because
Oh my God.
you understand, by this time, I had not taken any pictures because I just dumped the music out there. So no one knew how I looked. And then from there, it was history.
Wow.
Right.
I am attached to some amazing people. Like I just have to tell you, I
I was
like.
really thrown in the artistry because I always considered myself really my dream. I love singing background. So my dream was to like get me a good background singing gig as well as I love the business aspect of it. So just to
Right.
be get a corporate job. And so when I became an artist, it took me a minute to kind of get comfortable with it because I
Right.
was so used to, helping other artists with their craft that
Right.
now me doing it, was going to be a challenge. But, God definitely had his way with me.
Exactly. I am so glad that you became an artist. I have watched you get it. I told my grandmother today, she was like, what are your interviews today? I said, I have the Kings today. I have Laban King at 3 and Judas King. He's an adult film entertainer at
Okay.
4:15. And so I said, I got the Kings today. And she was like, all right. And she was like, I'm sitting here regaling her with your story. And I'm like, you don't understand this man. Like I just have to say, I have so much respect for you. I have so much respect for you. I learned so much from you, things you said and things I watched you do. And I just have to say that I'm so glad that you became an artist because I watched your movements. And in my early stages of trying to become an artist, I was making sure that, okay, he did this, he did that, he did this, okay, he did that. I would call, ask questions. You never ever said, oh, I'm busy or I can't, because people need to understand, you never know what somebody's going to become. So I am giving that ode and the respect back to you because I wasn't somebody, but I was a nobody, if you understand what I'm saying. God
Yeah.
makes us all to be somebody, but I was a nobody. I was fresh off the boat as far as social media, YouTube, all of that. I didn't know what I was doing, let alone have any music. So to see you and you had your own label and you were doing a damn thing, that was such an inspiration to me. Like, that's why I love that we're talking like this. And I keep saying that because I really am having like a outer body experience moment right now, because I want to fast forward to your recent project and the difference, even in the artwork. Let me tell you something. When I saw the snippet of the video, and you got on the swoosh and the blonde hair and the outfits change and they're very seductive and a little dominatrix to look at, like, I'm like, you better fucking do it. Like, I'm just, what got you to that point? Because I remember the Laban King that had Jupiter, and I remember your dreads, and I remember, but this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you are a different person. What I'm saying is you were more subdued. I remember when you started to post about your body and because you had an amazing, crazy workout routine. And you were like, listen, I can make a coin from this. I can teach y'all how to do this. And your body, oh my God. So I remember that. And I remember that being kind of like the first thing I was seeing on social media where you were actually showing, okay, this is who I am. This is who I am. You know, this is what I do. This is what I come to the table with. And then I've watched you grow. And I remember, and like, listen, people will see, that's how I tell people, you may not know who's watching you or why they're watching you. Because I watched that. Then I watched you traveling on planes with NFL, NBA players. You know, and I'm like, okay, now he with the big dogs doing finance, you know, doing all of that. And I caught a live of yours and you were like, yes, like I did this, that, the other, and I made a shitload of money, but now I'm going to return to my artistry. And yes. You were like, this is where I'm going to look for it. I'm working on it, but it has to be right. And that's one thing that I love about you. You always make sure you present the best representation of yourself and the art that you are creating. And the reason why I say that is because that was the mission of Jupiter. You were presenting these artists the best in their most perfect, and you know, perfection doesn't exist, but you know, in our business, smoke and mirrors, honey, it's damn near perfect. Right. Like so I just have a little shade question. Mm-hmm. Don't say his name, but where is he today? Because him holding out, the one holding out that said he wasn't going to sign, where is he today?
You know what the funniest thing is? I ran into him for the first time 3 or 4 months ago. In New York. And you know, so let me just say this. There are some people who just won't like you.
Yep.
And I was at this event in New York, and he just came up to me, and I already had a bad taste in my mouth from him because I met my best friend, and he had said a lot of negative things about me to my best friend. And right. I was like, why is that necessary? And so anyway, you know, he came up to me at the bar and we talked. And so I was like, you know what, finally, like, let's just put all the BS aside.
Right.
What was your issue with me? And right. he said these exact words. He said, I felt like you were always just a really, really mean person. So no one has ever said that to me.
No.
Right. And so I asked him, I was like, okay, well, was I mean to you? He was like, no, you're always great to me. I was like, well, did you see me being mean to somebody else? And he was like, no. And so then that's when I just let it go because I'm like, you know what? That's something with you. And then get this. He tried to say, well, I guess it's the Aquarius in me. Excuse me, not only am I an Aquarius,
Right.
but my son is an Aquarius and the moon, my moon
Right.
is Aquarius. So I'm a triple Aquarius.
Right.
So don't blame your fucked up behavior on the goddamn zodiac signs. Blame it on you.
Right. He had
That's what a lot of people like to do now. Oh, it's because I'm a Gemini. No, because you're a fucked up person.
Yes. Yes.
Don't blame it on the moon and the stars and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It is what it is. And it just goes to show you, and I want this to be an example to a lot of people. God will set you up with the biggest blessing through rejection.
Yes. Talk about it.
That's why it says what the devil meant for evil.
Mm-hmm.
Because like honestly, I was lost at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't have the resources in the pool to go and look for another artist and this, that, and other. Everything was already given to me, you know, like as a favor. And so I wanted to make sure that the people who did these favors to me, one day they would be rewarded for it.
Right.
And I want to use him and his artistry as it. But when he said no, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just dump it out. Had no idea it would take off the way that it did. No,
it did, Laban. It did. It took off, Laban. That music was amazing. That music, it's still out today, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I need all the links, because at the bottom of this, I want them to be able to go get that music. And that was the first time you were my first like record executive. You were the first one. Yeah, you were the first one. There were others after you, but you were the first record executive. And I felt so honored, because I'm like, God, I want to be a part of this business, but I don't know anybody. I don't have any connections. I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And literally through my little old YouTube with me singing my little Whitney Houston covers, my little India Irie covers, Donna Summer covers, Deborah Cox covers. You were never mean to me. I don't understand. See, yeah, you're right. I'm not even gonna bother that, because I just don't even understand that. Never. Like, you took it upon yourself to call me, and you didn't have to do that.
Get this though. The person that was supposed to sign, when I ran into him, he asked me to manage him. After he says that.
I'm sorry, I was talking. My mind, I had an out of bad experience. Please say that again for the camera while I'm quiet.
He was like, yeah. So, because don't get me wrong, he's still a talented artist, and he was like, yeah, you should consider managing me. And I was like, you know what? Like, are you serious? Like, you think I'm a mean person? Like, why would you say this about me, then want me to be a very essential part of your career? Like, that's but you know.
Do you know how many years went by between 2008 and 2021?
Right.
And I'm just going to say it. If an artist doesn't keep up with their shit, you're not going to give me the same quality that I saw in you when you were young and virile.
Mm-hmm.
Laban. Okay, let me segue. So, I saw some new music. Please explain to us what you are up to right now. And I mean, what you doing, where you at? Are you in Detroit? Are you in New York? Are you in LA? Give us an update on what Laban King is doing.
In 2014, I moved to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was in Atlanta up until October of last year.
Mm-hmm.
In Atlanta, it's when I became like the big businessman. I always
mm-hmm.
had business, but like when I really started to do investing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually ran for mayor of Atlanta.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I'm the first openly Black gay individual to run for a major city.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a blessing. Although I didn't win that, it really helped me with my my career investments. A lot of doors opened up. But at quarantine, when quarantine first started, it gave me an opportunity to refocus.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happened was I was doing extremely well in the world of investing in finance,
mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, I'm a singer.
You are.
And so I wanted to make sure that I would go back to that. So I actually went back in the studio. I recorded a few songs, but my first song I released was called Party and Play.
Yes.
The reason why I wanted to record that is because For those that know what Party and Play is and may not know what it is, it's a colloquial for in the gay community for having sex while on drugs, right?
Okay.
And I wanted to talk about it because it's a huge thing. And actually, unfortunately, this year, someone very close to me passed away
From
who
it.
was addicted to crystal meth. So that song is actually about crystal meth addiction. And
Wow, Laban.
it talks about how one drug can almost talk to you,
Yes.
want you to like perfect example, the lyrics are, you spend your life on pause, you hesitate, looking for something wrong. And that's really about a conservative person not exploring things. And this is,
Yes.
I'm basically being the voice of the drug.
Yes.
And you know, all I really want is your time. And it's just like, give me a second. And people fail to realize 1 second can change your whole life for the good, but also for the bad,
Yeah, Laban.
you know? And so I want us as, you know, individuals of the LGBT community, particularly Black LGBT
Mhm.
community, to really start to have more honest conversations about drug and drug addiction.
Mhm.
Because nowadays people smoking more than just weed,
Yes.
you know, and
Yes.
I've seen some people with some great futures kind of like throw it all away, you know.
Oh God, Laban. I know some
So
people too. I know some people too. Please,
right.
please continue.
So I just wanted to make sure that my first song in God knows how many years would have a message, but it has to have a message, but it also has to sound good and look good at the same time.
Yeah.
So
It
really,
did. It does. It
so really
does.
in the video, that's me playing almost like a dark character in a sense.
Mhm.
And the beautiful thing about that, actually, where that video is shot at, it's in Brooklyn. It's a church, believe it or not.
Wow.
A lot of people, it may not look it on the outside, but when I put up to the video shoot, it took me forever because I'm like, where is this place at? I'm thinking I got catfished or something with
You like, wait a minute.
you mean tell me I'm about to do all this in this church? But I think it was appropriate because it kind of shows how looks can be deceiving,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. You know what's so funny? I find that that is the narrative. I want to do my music videos in cathedrals around the world. And I mean, like, it's not just like regular stuff. I want burning crosses. I want levitation. I want my eyes on fire, you know, like, because for me, that was the hot seat. That was where the hurt happened first. And
Right.
then the videos will all signify me leaving. I will always leave that space at the end of the video. You are absolutely amazing. So talk to us about what for, because I saw the visual and I was like, yes, like the visual, what brought about, like you just told us that I'm playing the drug, I'm talking to you, but how did you curate? Okay, finally, I don't give a fuck about what this industry is saying. I'm going to wear a wig. I'm going to wear tight clothing. I'm going to be more expressive. I'm going to be more flamboyant. Because see, people get that wrong. Effeminacy and flamboyance are two different things. And
Correct.
especially when you and your performance was not feminine, your performance wasn't even flamboyant. It was avant-garde. And see, like, people need to understand the difference. So tell us how you got into the actual look with the blonde and like how did you come up with that?
Well, number one, because I had been in the business world for so long, people
Long,
knew me as Laban King, like kind of buttoned up. And
right?
so to make sure, and see, one of the things that's kind of difficult about my career is my real name is my stage name.
Yup.
I have to distinguish Laban King, the business person, with Laban King, the artist. But I was just thinking, with urban music in particular,
Mm-hmm.
we've actually went backwards. Back in the day, Rick James and
Mm-hmm.
Bootsy Collins, Michael Jackson, Prince, like they didn't mind embracing a flamboyant type of
David
persona.
Bowie, yeah, but you see black,
Nowadays,
yeah.
a lot of Black male artists are afraid to do that because they don't want to be typecast or don't want to be considered gay for those that are straight.
Right.
And I'm like, this is art. Like the rule for artists, we make our own rules. The only rule that
Yes.
we have is to do you,
Yup.
you know. And so I was just like, you know what? I want to show people the artistic side of me because a lot of people remember me, but a lot of people never heard of me. And so I wanted them to see, listen, you can play with the wigs and you can play with the the everything. Like I'm really excited. I'll be shooting a music video pretty soon
Mm-hmm.
in Atlanta, and I'm going all out. Like I want you guys to not be afraid to be. And you're gonna have some flack for it, but down the line, people will appreciate it.
Yep. I had a pastor tell
So
me that. I had a pastor tell me that. He said I was going to be unorthodox. He said that I would be hated but he said because of what you amass. Because when you are authentic, you're not hiding, it can all come to you. You're an open book. You're literally that. Like it will come to you. And you know what I love? You said something very powerful, is that, you know, all of these great men whose music went up like really, really far, it may not have necessarily done that at that time, but over time it grew. And you're right. Like I have a straight friend um, whose name is Kenneth. And I gave him some advice one time because he was playing around with his image. He had been an MC for the longest time, and he really liked the Rick James flair. So he turned around and he did a video and he got himself a wig. Now, this is a straight man. This is my barber, my family's barber. You know, he's real straight man, got kids, everything. So, but a Libra like me. So, you know, got the artsy stuff, Libra, Aquarius, and Pisces. Just it's crazy. Virgo too. But so he did a music video, and it was like in the back of a truck, and he had girls like inside the truck. Like you had like it was being shot, like you opened the doors and everything was happening in this small space. But he still said, he was like, that was one of my highest watched pieces of content, because I literally flirted with the lines of masculinity and femininity. So by you saying that, it is just so amazing, because you were, Laban, you were saying this in 2008. Okay. For someone who now has become someone, I get to tell you, you were ahead of your time because you were saying this in 2008.
Thank you.
I also remember you talking about this, and I want to bring this up. You also were talking about, when you were talking about investing, you were talking about how you wanted to help Black people learn, like accrue and learn and build wealth. How's that going?
It's going great. I never, the one thing about my life is, and when I think about it, I get a little emotional. I just, everything that I've wanted to do, I told the universe.
Yep.
And really had no concrete plan as to how it can happen. I literally, like one of my friends from college, she used to always say, Lord, order my steps because I don't know where I'm going. And that was me. And so I just allowed for every experience to take me to the next level. And I appreciated every step. I think a lot of times we want to get to that final destination, but we don't realize that the journey will help you stay at the final destination. The worst thing to be is the worst thing you can ever do in life is become rich and then die broke. Because at least if you were always broke, you never knew what being rich felt like. You know, and so with me, I wanted to make sure to amass a certain amount of wealth, and then to be able to keep it, but also to be able to share on how I was able to do it. Now, what I was able to do, some people may can do it, some people may can't, as far as like steps verbatim. But you know, I wanted always to create a blueprint, especially for a lot of Black LGBT individuals, because we don't, even if you grow up in a great home, perfect example, my father was an amazing supportive father, but my father was a heterosexual Black man. And so some things when it came to, you know, learning about the LGBT community, I couldn't go to my dad because he didn't know.
Right.
You know, and so a lot of times you and I, we have to learn through trial and error.
Yep.
And a lot of people have learned through trial and error, and they in the ground for it.
Yep.
And so I thank God that I'm alive. Because don't get me wrong, I done did some dumb shit.
Me too.
I done went some places I shouldn't have went.
Me too.
But I thank God for, despite me being in places that I shouldn't have been, and people around people I shouldn't have been at sometimes, thank God that not only did he keep me, but he kept my mind.
Yeah.
You know, because this world can drive you crazy.
Oh yeah. It will. It will drive you crazy. You're absolutely right, Laban. It will drive you crazy because, unfortunately, especially in the Black community, there's this mentality of, I don't want you to get ahead of me. I want it. I need it. And you know what's sad? I used to get upset about that. But when you really examine it, they do need it. Everybody's out here struggling. Everybody's out here in need of an advancement. And it's like, they see you and they want to, it's kind of, and that's the thing. I had to, like, for 5.5 years, it'll be 6 years that I've been doing the Queen of Shade religiously every single week for 5.5 years. It'll be 6 years on New Year's Day. Like, yeah, it's been a lot. 22,000 videos, Laban. Fully scripted, everything. Laban, I had to focus, but I met artists along the way that were interested in, how do you do this? I want to be like this. I want to do this. Can you help me? Can you do this? And I'm like, baby, you got to pay attention to the crumbs I'm dropping, because I don't have the time to stop what I'm doing. I got to stay focused on what I'm doing. I need you to not expect reparations. I need you to use your eyes, and I need you to watch and put 2 and 2 together, because I did the same thing to get to where I am. I watched.
And the one thing that you have been is consistent.
Yeah.
A lot of people want, to get, to wherever they want to go, but they're not consistent. And the thing about it is, in the beginning, it's always going to be slow.
Oh, yeah. In the middle, too.
In
the middle, too.
Yeah. But like, staying consistent, eventually it will pay off. Somebody will see you.
Yup.
Somebody will hear you.
Yup.
They will see your consistent work ethic, and they will take you to the next level.
Yup.
So
no, that's exactly what happened, Laban, because get this, I only had about 2,000 subscribers on YouTube when I was doing all that I was doing. I only had 2,000 subscribers. I met my producer. I met my A&R. I met all these people that were in my life for a reason, vocal coach, everything. I met them during that time. I have had the same producer. We're a family now. I call her my sister. She just released her project. It's amazing, Laban. Okay. But yeah, I'll have to put you onto it. She's in Miami. She was in Atlanta because I flew to Atlanta in 2018, pre-COVID, to record with her, because we had never worked. Like, I was working out of a studio up here, but we got together and we created, it's the best album I've ever done. And I can't wait for the next one, because us being in the same space allows us to be able to create kind of organically. Like, and my thing is, I always come with mine written. I always come with the melody. I always come ready, but she's able to take and do those little extra nuances, do this, do that, and it really, and then make the beat, which is so important. And then she always says to me, it's so easy to make beats for you, because when I create, and I know you can understand this, when I create, I'm humming the melody already. So when I go to sing the song, I already have it the way that it goes, the placement and everything, chorus, bridge, everything. I sing the whole song to her. And I said all of that to say this: artists, everybody, Black folk everywhere, learn not to disturb the person and expect them to do it and stop what they're doing, first of all, for free. Laban, I just want to say thank you for your time. There's more we're going to talk about, but I didn't pay you for this.
Oh, no.
And you are dropping jewels that are going to help not only me, but so many people of so many different colors, creeds, backgrounds, nationalities. Because baby, we're not the only ones that want to be music artists and actually be successful at it. And I'm sitting here talking to someone that's made more money with their music than I ever have. I'm like, seriously, no. Like, and I keep going back to that, because I want them to respect you. I want them to understand. He brought Laban King on his show. We may not have known who Laban King was before we went on that show, but we know now, and we better follow him and get into what he does, because you are teaching people the financial aspect of it. They don't have a grandmother like me who had an IRA. So they have to work for it. They have to go to a job. And I respect every single person that works a 9 to 5, because, sweetie, in this day and age, Listen, you got to listen. Do you
You
know
gotta
how
have
they
a
say it? You
side
got to
hustle.
work 9 to 5 and then midnight to 5 a.m. for you.
But you know what? I tell people this: if God ever gave you one gift, you should never be broke.
Right. You
I
always
think a
say
lot
that.
of times we have almost accepted the fact that if you're going to do music, you have to be broke.
Thank
And
you, Laban.
here's a
Talk about
problem with
it. Talk about it, please.
that. Okay, so granted, they say the music industry, like the money is gone. But
Mhm.
if the money is gone, then why is the consumption up? We
Yes.
listen to way more music because we
Now.
have access on our phones.
Yep.
This is back in the day when we had CD players and Walkman and this, that, and other. So it doesn't make sense. So the one thing I want artists to do is to be able to live off of their art. Now, don't get me wrong. You can do other things. You can do modeling on the side. You can do acting, but you should be able to pay your bills from your art. And so
Amen.
one of the biggest things that I'm excited about for next year,
Yes, please tell us.
I'm using my music to challenge the business.
Mm-hmm.
We as artists should be getting paid way more
Yes.
for streaming. We
Yes.
should be getting paid. The Music Fairness Act should pass Congress, and I'm working on that with some people.
Yes.
Um, Shows should be booking people for way more. And let me tell y'all something: don't let anybody Groupon you.
Right.
Try to lower you so more people can come. Know your skill, and you're gonna have to listen. Sometimes you got to say no in order to grow.
Y'all
People
heard it.
will take advantage of you. They
Y'all
will.
heard it. Listen, I'm gonna share something with you because I have so much respect for you. Back when I first released my first song, it was 2013. I had already previewed it on YouTube. It was called Black Stilettos.
I remember that.
Yeah, see, so many people do. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing at that time, Laban, but I do now. So I previewed Black Stilettos at that time. And then my producer comes in and she's like, I can do this with it. I can do that with it. We can do this with it. We can do that with it. So we actually produced a more marketable, I'll say, a more marketable version of that song. At that time, I know, listen, I got to say names because it matters here. I need them to understand that what you just said, sometimes you got to say no to grow. I met an amazing stylist. She was not just a stylist, she was a designer. Her name was Jacinta Laban. And she was working with different celebrities in New York. She was also a Libra girl. So I was just like, all right, you a Libra like me. I approached her not having much money, but wanting a look for my first album, but it wasn't even an album at that time. It was my first song. So I ended up getting a styling myself. Hello. And it went over well. But Jacinta did something. I played Jacinta my music because, I was trying to get her on board. I don't have the money all to pay you right now. She asked me, what's your budget? I said, listen, I can come up with about $1,500, I need just one look that can carry this image. We ended up not making the deal, and I'm gonna tell you why. In the interim, I played Jacinta my music. I sent her Black Stilettos. She asked me a question. She said, is that you? I said, yes, ma'am, that's me. That's your voice? Yes, ma'am. You wrote that? Yes, ma'am. It's copyrighted? Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'll call you back. Laban, she calls me back with R. Kelly on the phone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was styling him for something. And she said, R. Kelly would like for you to go on tour with him, open up for him and Lady Gaga.
Oh, wow.
They were doing some collaborative effort together. She said, and she was excited. She said, he would like to talk to you so that he could, set it up. I said, thank you. I'm honored, but no thank you. She said, why? I said, with all due respect to you and Mr. Kelly, I'm not a lunchbox. I did not prepare this entire meal, struggle and toil all this time to get it right, and then get it right. And then you come along and slap your name on the outside of my lunchbox. They
Wow.
were so angry, they slammed the phone in my ear. Jacinta never contacted me again, never worked with me again. But look at me now. And I own 100%, you know, when they do the shares, 200%, I own all of my music, lock, stock, and barrel. And I've come a long way from Black Stilettos.
Amen.
You see? You see? You
Amen.
have to learn. I had to share that so that I could verify, because it happened to me. You have to say no to grow. And my thing is, I've been saying no a long time. At first, and that's the crazy thing, Laban, at first, they were saying no. They
Right.
were saying no. We just don't see it. We just don't do this. We just don't do that. And then you hear one sound from me, one screech. I call it a screech. One screech. And now all of a sudden, you are in my face. But my thing was, I just thank God for the way that I am programmed and built, because I go, like, I backed up because I immediately said, value, 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 over cost, value. I'm like, all right. I have something now that you want. So my attitude automatically was, well, let me hold on to this, because no. Like, I immediately clammed up. I was afraid of the industry, Laban. I was afraid. I had a celebrity psychic say to me, your fame scares you. And I'm like, yes, because I don't want to get caught up in the superfluous bullshit of the industry. I have a platform now where I actually do human good.
Amen.
I don't want to lose that, Laban.
And to be honest, that's what I'm glad that when I stepped back, I did, because I probably could have lost myself back then.
Mm-hmm, we all would have.
Yet not to say, like, I think that, one of the problems with our community and our culture is we don't value someone getting older.
Yeah.
Like, we look at them as like milk instead of wine. The older you are with wine, the more valuable you should be.
Yes.
How it is with milk. But milk is the opposite, excuse me. And I can truly say that, like, granted, don't get me wrong, my first project, I really wanted that to take me to international, acclaim.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know at what expense it would have cost me.
Talk about it, Laban. Talk about it.
And so for the doors that were closed, I thank you, God.
Mm-hmm.
Because those were doors I shouldn't have walked through.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, perfect example, and I can say this, there's a lot of major singers who are bigger than me in name, but not bigger than me in pocket.
Right.
Right. And so my thing is, what is the purpose of being famous and broke?
Not at all. And Laban, that's the state of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that the average, most actors in Hollywood make less than $50,000 a year?
Yeah.
That's atrocious. You said it before, that the artist needs to get paid fairly. That's atrocious. They blackballed Monique because she was saying, I don't want to just have my grandchildren say, oh, look, my mom was in a movie. She said, I need the money that goes along with that performance.
Yeah.
Y'all not trying to give it up.
And I love Monique. I actually know her personally. And when I tell you, like,
you know, Monique, a lot of people, baby. I'm not Monique going in your book, but
Monique
you know a lot of people.
She's owed a lot. And not only is she owed a lot, she wasn't just taking a stand for herself. She was taking a stand for you and I, and for
Exactly. For us to be paid according to our worth and value, our value. And they did that to that woman. That hurt me so bad, because you watch and it's like, I'm like, when I started my career, I realized I got into an argument with my whole group. There was a whole group of us. And I'm like, I'm not going to audition for a record label. Now, this was the second time. I had already been with one. Was recording in New York City and everything. A&R's wife went #1 in Australia. So he had to move her to Australia from Brooklyn to manage her career. She became his biggest artist. Recently spoke to him, probably before COVID. And I sent him my music. And he said, I'm not shocked. I knew you could sing like that. He said, I knew you could write like that. I knew it. He said, but now you are forced to be reckoned with. But people don't understand, like, It's not enough. Like, you know what's so crazy? I see some of these producers and some of these artists, actors, actresses, I see them have one good year, Laban. One good year. And did it. I root for them. I clap for them. I'm happy for them because I believe this. If I'm happy for what God has given you,
Ooh,
you'll get your ass out of the line and I move up next.
I know that's right.
Yeah. I'm never jealous or upset with it because my thing is get all you're supposed to get so you don't have to stand in this line no more. Because when you get out of this line, I move up. That is my philosophy for life. I applaud everybody doing what they're doing. But unfortunately, many of them are having one good year. How is one good year going to set you up and pay you? And you're 29, 30, 40. You got to live to 85 and 90. How are you going to do that?
And let me tell you,
That scares the hell out of me.
The saddest part is to see people who had careers.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the money to show for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they and because their time has passed for whatever reason, they can't, you know, create something new and get that again. And so, you know, I've always just been the person that, you know, I'm going to, number one, I'm going to support everybody because at the end of the day, God can't bless a hater.
Right.
And the one, and I'll say this because I'm pretty sure you feel this way too.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes you show love to people who don't show it back.
Right.
But you know what? That's why you're supposed to not do it for them, but you're supposed to do it unto God. Yep. One of the most powerful songs in the lyric in the song is actually a Christmas song, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And the reason why is because it says he knows when you are sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows when you are bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. It don't say so be good so somebody else can return the favor.
Nope.
It don't say be good so you can go to heaven. It just says be good for goodness sake. Imagine what the world would be if we were just good for goodness sake.
Right. Right.
I'm an example of, when someone asked me like Laban, what would you say your life is? And I said, you know what? I thought about it. My life is a collection of small blessings that are all one.
Good. It's the small things.
It's the small blessings. It's the little opportunities that have gotten me boom, 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 boom to where I am right now. And so sometimes the flesh in me is like, well, this person ain't really helping you, so F them. But you know what? I'm not wired like that.
Right.
And the day that I start to think like that, that's the day I lost. And so if I see something good, I'll promote their stuff, even if they won't promote mine. It is what it is, because the one thing about me, and don't get me wrong, I want my music to go farther than this, that, and other. But the one thing about me is I'm not hurting. That's a refrigerator full of food.
Right.
The rent is paid. I live in a great, gorgeous condo in New York City. Like, so all I can do is just be grateful because the Lord will not forget you.
Right.
He may not bless you the same way that you actually like help someone else, but guess what? He's gonna do it way bigger and better.
Yep. Yep. You know what? It's so crazy that you said that because for 5.5 years, I built my brand giving the Queen of Shade videos. I churned them out. I churned them out. I churned them out. And just like that, Instagram started bothering me. They weren't flagging the guys that I show. They were flagging my actual inspiration videos. Kept telling me I was in danger of losing my platform, blue check and everything. And I said, and I keep saying this, I was so upset because I would try to talk to them. I would try to get to people. And that's why I initially, when I recently reached out to you, because I was like, I got to get to somebody at Instagram because this is ridiculous. So they kept telling me, you're in danger, you're in danger, you're in danger. One more time, we're going to take your account. I woke up one day and I said, you know what? I can't live like this. This is all my work. I did this. I've built this. I can't let them take this from me. So get this. I start deleting my work. I said, you know what? I'm leaving. Laban, they banned me and blocked me from deleting my own work. They told me that deleting my work, because I have 43,000 posts, mind you. Yeah. They told me that deleting my own work was detrimental and went against the community guidelines. Because I bring at least 70 million people a year see at least one video from me, Laban.
Wow.
But Laban, I didn't make a dime on Instagram. I did it as unto God. I didn't make a dime. The only reason I started to make money, Laban, was because I started offering products and services. I did music, then I started offering mentoring, things like that. Talk to me. I can do this. I can do that. And I'm not cheap. I'm not cheap. It's $250 to talk to me for an hour. And people pay it because they believe in the brand. They know, they've seen me work. The validity is there. But get this. Not only did they do that, you know how our iPhones have the facial recognition. So I start deleting. I got to 3,000 posts deleted. An interface comes up in Instagram. Look to the left, look to the right, look to the side, look up and down, and said, now hit send. We just needed to verify that it was you, your face, looking at this phone, deleting your work.
Wow.
Exactly. So you give me flack because, you know, oh, I'm radical or I'm unorthodox, but I'm helping people. You know, these people, it's more than the numbers. There's so many people that are not being recorded that are watching. And you know, I'm bringing you so much, but you want to treat me like shit. And you expect me to take it. And I said, no, 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 no. I'm moving everything in the next year to thequeenofshade.com. It's all mine. I own it.
I know that's right.
That's what I'm doing. That's what these interviews are for. I'm putting them on YouTube and on my website.
Okay.
Yep. And then the snippet will go on Twitter. But this is another thing. I see farity. I may have asked you to do this, but we are creating this content together. You can best believe your Gmail, Google Drive, you will get a copy of this interview along with this video conversation, along with the audio, so that you can do whatever you need to do with it. I talked to the Queen of Shade. She's my buddy. I've known him forever, a lot, like, so that you can, like, that farity, equality is how I have not made a dime, but still been able to pay every bill. Still get all this hair, human hair, and this makeup and these sparkly costumes. And because when you do it, like you said, as unto the divine, he will make a way for you.
He sure will.
He sure will. Please tell everybody where they can find you, because I know you go live on Instagram. You do Instagram lives, but your page is not, there's not a lot on there. Where can we find you?
Well, pretty much on all social media platforms, Laban King, LABANKING.com. Also, LabanKing.com. I actually own that now.
Yep.
That took 20 years.
Yep.
And you know
wow.
why? You put my name together, it's LA Banking. So a bank.
Oh, wait. Look at the irony.
Right.
God. Look at, and you, that's what you do, baby. That's how you made your money.
And so
I said, no, I'm gonna name him LA Banking.
Years, the person that owned it, I started communicating with him when I was in high school.
Right.
Here.
Right.
December last year was the first time that I actually had it. So LabanKing.com.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I got a lot of stuff coming out. Next year I have 2 albums coming out.
Right.
One is called Dirty Hearts.
Okay.
I'm so excited about that because it's actually Dirty Hearts. For those that don't know, it's a card game.
Okay.
And so I played the game with my friends in New York, and I was like, oh my God, I can make a whole album about this game. And later on, I'll be coming out with an album as well. So I'm just looking forward to it. And doing a lot of shows. I'm going to hit the stage again, first time in years. But
wow, you got it, Laban. You got it, Laban. You got it. You got it. You, like, I needed them to meet you, because I'm interviewing all kinds of people from all backs of lifetime and backgrounds, but I needed them. You dropped jewels today. And I just want to say thank you, because I don't consider myself on your level. You are one of my inspirations. I saw you doing it long before I ever did it. And I want people to understand that you give people their flowers while they can fucking smell them. Amen. Like, yes, because I want, please listen, if you're an artist watching this, you better get on it. Like, you better listen. So real quick before I wrap this up, I want to know, do you still have a label? Did you revamp? Are you still taking on other artists, or are you just now focused on the right thing, which is your career?
I'm focusing on my career, but I would love to start exploring more artists.
Management. Mm-hmm.
Um, or either I want to do like a management label type of situation, something very
Mm-hmm.
unconventional where really almost I want to do it like a loan in a sense, like
Yes.
help artists, financially, you know, do their project and then
Right.
work out a fair way to be able to pay it back. So I'm working on some things.
I love it. And you know what's so funny? People like you, and I can say me here, we were burned so that we could give people a better option.
We were burned so we could show people the real light.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I'm not about to give you a 360 deal if that was what was going to destroy my life.
Right.
You see?
Right.
That's how I mean, like, I'm not about to gouge you for everything. And that was what they were trying to do with me. See, I open my platform the way that I do because at the end of the day, I'm blessed and talented. I
I
don't
understand.
need 15% from these guys. Yes, people say, oh, but you're leaving money on the table. You might even say, oh, but you're leaving money on the table. But my attitude is I got my own thing going on. I got my own thing going on that I work very, very hard to keep going. So it's like, I just shine a light. I'm just shining a light, like I'm just shining a light. So many people have confirmed. I got this one huge blogger from Africa. She is amazing. I'm bringing her on next week. She's going to talk about how there were gay men and transvestite women in Africa before slavery. Like, I can't wait for that one. I can't wait for that one. Like, I've got a lot of people that have said yes, because I want to shed light on this whole beautiful network of people. Beautiful network. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of mainstream treating us the way that they have. And I know you said it. We've both been through a lot with mainstream, but here we are. Here
Yeah.
we are. Here we are. I
Thank you
thank you
so much.
so much
No,
for
thank
having.
you.
No, I thank you, Laban. I thank you. I got to wrap it up because now I got to do Judas King. But I just want to say thank you so much for just your contribution to my life, because this interview was what, 15 years in the making?
Yeah.
15 years, 2008 to 18 is
Yeah.
10, almost 15 years in the making. I didn't know what I would become. But the fact that I'm able to sit here and tell someone whom I looked at as a pioneer, thank you. That is just an amazing, amazing, amazing opportunity.
I
I
appreciate
just,
it. I appreciate
listen,
it. You continue to do your thing, and I'm always going to be your number one fan.
I can't wait to hear this music. So you go ahead and you do what you got to do, because this music, listen, when I saw you and now I know you was portraying the drug, honey, he got high that night. He got, the way you looked, he got high that night. Oh, yes, he did. He took that drug. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Oh my God. So yes, do you have a YouTube channel where they can see that video? Where can they see that video?
Yeah. Laban King on YouTube.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna plug it all under the bottom of this video. Thank you so much, Laban. Please have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you. I'm gonna end it now. Say bye.
Bye bye.
God.
Cool.